Some parents say they are furious after the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board announced the proposed changes to elementary school boundaries and school grade structures. Under the proposed changes, about 11,000 students will have to change schools starting September 2026. As part of the proposed changes, 30 schools will see a change to their grade configuration. Here is why this is happening. The board hopes to even out enrollment in schools that are overpopulated or underpopulated and bring students back to schools in their own communities. Joining us in studio this morning, we have a parent, Kate Purchase. We are also joined by Pino Buffoni, the Director of Education for the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Kate, let's start with you. Tell us about, how this is impacting you and your concerns.
Sure. We have two children, and our eldest goes to Broadview Public School. Because of the changes, it actually affects 11 houses on our block. The entire rest of our street is zoned into the catchment area for Broadview. And so our son is going to get grandfathered into Broadview as a grade 1 student, but our daughter, Josephine, who just turned 3 yesterday, unfortunately is going to be sent to a different school and then sent to a different school again 40 minutes outside of our community.
Okay, so that means you're going to have two kids at different schools.
That's right.
What do you say for parents who are dealing with this, who are going to have two young kids at different schools? And that might be challenging, when it comes to work and dealing with different start times, dealing with different buses and different zones.
No question. The impetus for this particular program review really was equity of access to programs and services, because that wasn't the case and isn't the case right now across the district. However, it does come with a multifaceted set of considerations. Childcare, transportation, boundaries, and of course major roads. Schools aren't built to avoid those elements and are often very historical in nature. In order to restructure for equity of access and opportunity, experience and outcome, we've had to look at a number of factors, and what Kate describes is one example of some of the outcome of what happens in trying to balance equity of access across programs. No question, it's complicated, not easy, and right now we're listening to feedback from parents, guardians, and caregivers to see where we can make adjustments. I do want to make the point that it is complex and again, multiple layers to this, and they're integrated. If you pull one string, it affects other elements. So we're listening right now to the feedback, looking at what we can do to adjust, but understand these kinds of large, complex change management processes aren't easy.
I would just quickly say, with respect, listening to parents over a 2-month process is not really listening to parents. It's not really being in the community. It's not really understanding the concerns. And so while it is, appreciated that there is a survey, that's not really actually a real meaningful consultation when there's an 18-month implementation phase that's being railroaded through these communities.
What would you like to see happen?
I think a couple of things here. One is that we are asking for an extended consultation phase that is a deeper, more meaningful, and more thorough consultation to really understand the real world impact on these communities. I think the principles and the merit of an equity-based system, of course we all agree with more equitable access across the city. I don't think anyone disagrees with that. But parents are reacting now to the facts on the table, and they need time to help our trustees, to help our board understand what this means. I would also say this is not a fully costed plan. This was admitted at the trustee meeting, the committee of the whole the other night. These things need to be done, and it is only responsible and good governance to see those pieces happen before these changes are enforced on our children.
Is this what you're hearing from other parents who are maybe dealing with a similar situation to yours?
I will say one of the things that I think has been the most community building exercise out of all of this is how much parents have banded together and expressed their outrage and concern about these changes. There are numerous WhatsApp groups. There are people with stories across the city, and there are some truly egregious examples about children being moved out of their school for 1 year, and families being separated. I've heard from women who are saying that they may have to leave the workforce because they cannot adjust to these kinds of extenuating circumstances between childcare and commute times, and making people's lives work, and frankly, a stressful enough time in their lives between a trade war and cost of living crisis.
And Pino, hearing this, obviously, what are your thoughts when you hear frustrations like this from parents?
Couple of pieces. One, as stated, this isn't an easy process. We get that. If this was a flip of a switch, everyone simply goes to the school right to the right of them, this would have been done a quarter century ago. There are some elements that I think are realities for us as an organization, I'd say for families. There isn't a single student in the district who doesn't change schools. Most change at least 2 to 3 times, sometimes more anyway. As stated previously, we've got 6,000 to 8,000 students moving every single year right now. Some of that, to Kate's point, we look at systemically as unnecessarily because of our current structure. But I grant that this is a one-time move of slightly more and would coordinate schools leaving at educational boundaries of primary, junior, intermediate, and secondary, and having cohorts of students moving together from elementary through secondary in a predictable manner. But it doesn't come without some of the challenges that Kate's mentioned. I will say with respect to the consultation, we've got consultation evenings, actually this evening is one of them, as well as with staff, and that I think the issues in front of us are clear. We could spend the better part of a quarter century, I think we have, listening to some of the feedback. What we're looking to do is try to make the most seamless decisions that are as sensible and sound for people, but I appreciate that everyone's circumstance is different, every parent.
Perfect. Well, thank you both so much for joining us today. We truly appreciate it, and I'm sure this is not going to go anywhere anytime soon, so we'll probably have you back to continue these conversations. So we truly appreciate you being on the show this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lots more to come here on CTV Morning Live. Just want to let you know as well, there are going to be several public consultations on this issue at different schools today, Monday, March 17th, and as well Monday, March 24th. For more information, or over if you want to engage as well, you can head over to OCDSB.ca for all the details.